teleSUR celebrates 20 years of uninterrupted transmission, 20 years giving voice to the people of the South. Following a favorable vote in a subcommittee, the Supervisory Committee of the U.S. House of Representatives has decided to summon the Department of Justice to hand over files related to Jeffrey Epstein, the deceased convicted sex offender. And in Palestine, the number of people who have died from starvation has increased in Gaza in the last few hours. Health authorities confirmed 10 new deaths at dawn on Thursday. Hello and welcome to From the South. I'm Alejandra Garcia from teleSUR Studios in Havana, Cuba. We begin with the news. Stay with us. "20 years ago, two communicators par excellence of interest and feelings of the peoples of the South, Fidel Castro and Hugo Chavez, devised a multinational television company that would turn the media map upside down by deciding that our North is the South."
Así es, ya está en el aire la señal de la nueva televisión del sur.
Era una apuesta inédita en esta parte del mundo.
It was an unheard of bet in this part of the world, a multinational alternative to global hegemonic power that purposed a different, humane and ethical communication. 20 years later, it still remains a huge challenge.
Hoy teleSUR es también un punto de encuentro del mundo.
Today, social movement of those other people who have another ethic, who look at and recognize the world and its conflicts from another perspective, but that is the most enormous thing we have achieved in the last 20 years. To go from an idea, from a need, from a reflection that stops being theoretical, to say, here it is, we did it. With its imperfections, with its challenges, of course, there are many challenges, but it is a reality that exists and has been somehow accompanied, even in some cases, transforming or contributing to the transformation of realities of our continent and the world.
La transformación de realidades de nuestro continente y del mundo.
Nunca antes un medio de comunicación del sur.
Never before has a counter-hegemonic global South media that empowers and privileges the voices of the humble and excluded was so potent and powerful.
Hemos estado en el lugar de la noticia, en guerras, en tsunamis.
We have been on the scene of the news in wars, tsunamis, earthquakes, hurricanes, typhoons, protests. We have sought exclusive interviews with presidents, chancellors, prime ministers, intellectuals, artists, world record sportsmen, interesting people, but above all, we have been close to the people.
Hemos estado cerca de la gente.
teleSUR a lo que va es a consolidarse.
teleSUR will consolidate itself as a multi-platform with different formats, with different media, seeking to communicate with those audiences that today are dispersed in different platforms, seeking interactions with the audience and to maintain its relevance and pertinence.
Buscando interacción con la audiencia y mantener su relevancia, su pertinencia.
From this new ecosystem, we will continue to reach out with the pillars that have always sustained teleSUR, to be close to the people, to put the camera to those who have been denied a voice, visibility.
Es poner la cámara desde los que a quienes se les ha negado la voz.
Because teleSUR understands that visibility is power, and that is what we will continue to do for the next 20 years.
Y eso lo continuaremos haciendo durante los próximos 20 años.
Hoy, teleSUR produce contenidos.
Today, teleSUR produces content in Spanish, English, and Portuguese, and is working on perfecting its communication strategies and making positive use of artificial intelligence. The idea is to more effectively reach millions of users in need of a different type of storytelling.
Estamos trabajando en una mejor imagen, o una imagen más fresca.
We are working on a better image, on a fresher image, on a better quality of the signal, trying to make the distribution of the signal as wide as possible.
Que la distribución de la misma sea la más amplia, que cubra más, obviamente que cubra.
To cover more area, to reach the public and, I repeat, under the best quality standards.
Bajo los mejores estándares de calidad.
Por el engaño nos han dominado más que por la
By
fuerza.
tricking, we have been dominated more than by force. As Simon Bolivar once said, that is why for many people the emancipating communicational experience of Latin America is increasingly necessary.
Y a veces uno se cree que sabe mucho de un país y resulta que por telesur no.
Sometimes you think you know a lot, and it turns out that through telesur I learned about historical important things, cultural roots of vital importance for the strengthening of our respective countries of the continent. As a single nation, as it should be, not globalized as the United States government aspired. That is why telesur is the best thing we have.
Y es por eso que telesur es lo mejor que tenemos nosotros.
Lo cierto es que desde hace 2 décadas, quien
The truth is that for the last 2 decades, whoever wants to know what is happening in the world with a Latin American and Caribbean perspective has, without a doubt, the best option in telesur, the multi-platform that turned the media map upside down under the maxim that our north is the south.
Viola López, Telesur, Caracas, Venezuela.
The celebration continues, and now we go with our correspondent in Cuba, Belén de los Santos, who is in Havana, precisely with another colleague of us, Luis Alberto Matos, during a commemorative act held by the Cuban Institute of Radio and Television to honor the 20 years of Telesur.
Hello, studios. It's a pleasure to greet you from Havana, Cuba, in this case, and at such an important event at this moment. We are celebrating the 20th anniversary of our multi-platform teleSUR. We are at the Institute, the Cuban Institute of Radio and Television. We have just seen one of the commemorative events here take place. The authorities of the Cuban Radio and Television honored telesUR with a series of acknowledgements, and also we are seeing right behind me just one of the moments that really honor this trajectory, this project that speaks of the global South, that speaks of the histories and narratives of our own people that we are bringing to the world, and also in English to a whole new audience from the last years. telesUR English is one of the important parts of this project that was thought out 20 years ago. And I'm joined right now by none other than one of our key anchors, Luis Alberto Matos. You were also part of the ceremony, and let me ask you, Luis, what does it feel for you? What does it mean to be part of this 20th anniversary in telesUR?
Thank you, Belén, for that introduction. Well, I gotta say I'm a bit nervous. I'm usually on the other side of the mic, but to be part of this celebration, to be part of the telesUR family is something that people don't understand until you're part of it. It's a sense of pride to be doing this kind of work, because once you're in it, you see the importance that the work that you're doing it has, and also the result it has when you see all the people that are watching our signal across the Caribbean, in Africa, all over the world, and they continue to follow the news that are happening with us, and they comment with us, and they are part of our work as well, because they are our voices, and we are giving their voice as well. So it's a reciprocal, a two-way street going on. I've been part of the telesUR family for 5 years. It's turned 20 now, which have been 20 years of hard work, of lots of learning, and in these 5 years I've been part of this family, I've begun to learn more about the world, but also about myself, because being in telesUR has given me an opportunity to expand borders that I didn't know that I even had. So to be part of this celebration, to be part of how people see telesUR and how they perceive the work that we're doing with so much pride is of great joy. I'm very proud of being part of this family.
Such an important event. Thank you so much, Luis, for sharing with us your experience being part of this family. It's truly one of the most important things that we have and that we're celebrating at this moment. So this is just a little bit of what is happening, not just here in Cuba, but all over the continent. We are celebrating this 20 years together, this 20 years of a regional project that continues and vows to continue for many more years. For now, we will continue celebrations, but for now, we go back to studios.
Thank you, Bel, and thank you, Luis. We keep celebrating today. Cuban President Miguel Díaz-Canel also congratulated telesUR on the occasion of the 20th anniversary of our multi-platform, with a special mention to telesUR's President Patricia Villegas. In his official X account, the President highlighted On the Liberator's birthday, teleSUR was born 20 years ago. Since that day, the peoples of our America have had their own voice and image to tell their truth. Congratulations to you, dear Patricia Villegas. And also, the Al Majdi News Agency congratulated the multi-platform through its Telegram account with the following message. teleSUR's 20th anniversary, Voice of the Peoples of the Global South. On July 24th, teleSUR celebrates 2 decades of news coverage. Its existence challenges media hegemony and asserts the right of the peoples of the Global South to tell their own story. And now we have a short break coming up, but first remember you can join us on TikTok at teleSUR English, where you'll find news in different formats, news updates and more. We'll be right back, stay with us. Welcome back to From the South. The Venezuelan government, alongside its people, commemorated Thursday with a solemn act the 242nd birthday anniversary of the liberator Simón Bolívar. Venezuelan officials paid honors to the father of the homeland by both raising the national flag and singing the country's anthem, Glory to the Brave People, in the national pantheon. Moreover, they laid a wreath to the sarcophagus of the liberator. In addition to this commemoration, Venezuelans also celebrated on Thursday the Day of the Bolivarian National Navy and the Naval Battle of Lake Maracaibo. In this regard, Mayor of Caracas, Carmen Melendez, highlighted Bolivar's legacy continues to be alive in the 21st century.
Del natalicio del libertador y padre de la patria, Simón Bolívar, bolivariano.
In other news, several Colombian citizens reported arbitrary arrest and inhumane treatment inside the terrorist detention center, the mega prison built by the Bukele administration in El Salvador. After having spent 2 years in prison, citizen Milady Giraldo said that she came to the country looking for work, but she had ended up behind bars along with other Colombians accused of participating in informal loans known as drop by drop. Likewise, Mervin Yamarte, a young Venezuelan who had shared a cell with Colombians, described the prison as a true hell. Thus, she reported constant beatings, poor food conditions, and forced labor. Such penitentiary center has been harshly criticized by human rights organizations, which are reflecting about overcrowding, lack of fair trials, and inhumane conditions. Following a favorable vote in a subcommittee, the Supervisory Committee of the U.S. House of Representatives has decided to summon the Department of Justice to hand over files related to Jeffrey Epstein, the deceased convicted sex offender. On Wednesday, 3 Republicans on the subcommittee joined the Democrats in approving the motion, which passed with a vote of 8 to 2. This decision came shortly after the committee referred Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's former partner, who is serving a 20-year sentence for child trafficking, for prosecution. The committee is seeking her testimony in order to consider possible legislative solutions that would strengthen federal efforts against human trafficking and reform the use of non-prosecution agreements in sex crimes. On Wednesday, President Donald Trump promised to strengthen U.S. dominance and promote unhindered development. At a Washington, D.C. event on the subject, Trump announced his plan to remove ethical restrictions on these platforms. He then announced the signing of 3 executive orders aimed at streamlining permit processings for data centers and promoting the export of technology abroad. The AI Action Plan, his proposal, will also remove federal and state regulations and prohibit the government from using artificial intelligence with ideological or woke bias. On Wednesday, a U.S. appeals court rejected an executive order by President Donald Trump that sought to eliminate the right to citizenship by birth. This was in response to a lawsuit filed by the states of Washington, Arizona, Illinois, and Oregon, which warned that the measure would have serious legal, administrative, and financial consequences for local governments. With 2 votes in favor and 1 against, the judges of the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals concluded that the proposal has no legal basis as it contradicts the intent of the Constitution, which guarantees citizenship to everyone born on U.S. soil. The border crisis that began in May between Thailand and Cambodia escalated dangerously on Thursday. In the disputed border area, military contingents engaged in an armed confrontation. The event took place between the Thai province of Surin and the Cambodian province of Odar Meanchey, where Thailand is said to have carried out airstrikes with F-16 fighter jets against the Cambodian military positions. Regional agencies confirmed that a Thai military report, according to which Cambodia used BM-21 rockets against populated areas and gas stations. Both sides report casualties. Thailand claims 11 civilians killed and 24 injured, with 1 soldier killed and at least 7 wounded, as well as the evacuation of 60,000 people from the 86 villages affected. Cambodia has not yet confirmed the number of human losses. China and the European Union hold the 25th Common Relations Summit in Beijing City. Earlier, the European Union had threatened China with sanctions and rules on Chinese relations with Moscow. Subsequently, President Xi Jinping said to the President of the European Council, Antonio Costa, and the head of the Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, that China and the European Union must manage properly their differences. In addition, the head of state explained that interdependence did not pose any risks, noting that competitiveness could not rely on the construction of walls. The Chinese leader further referred that 50 years had passed by since they both established diplomatic relations. In this regard, the European delegations stated that the encounter was an opportunity to advance and balance their ties. Iran and Russia conducted a major joint naval maneuver in the Caspian Sea this week with the aim of strengthening regional security and reinforcing their military alliance. For 3 days, ships and naval units participating in a series of exercises focusing on maritime rescues, patrols, tactical maneuvers, and shared security protocols. All of this was under the slogan, "Together for a safe and stable Caspian Sea." Iranian authorities pointed out that this operation sends a clear message of unity in the face of external threats and growing militarization in the area. Both Iran and Russia, which face sanctions and strong international pressure, share a common vision in the face of what they describe as Western hegemony. And also they assure that they will continue to work together to maintain stability in the Caspian Sea. In other informations, a Russian passenger plane model Antonov AN-24 crashed Thursday in the far east of the country, killing all 49 people on board. After several hours of rescue operations, authorities confirmed that there were no survivors in the crash area. According to the Russian Federation's investigation committee, an investigation into safety violations and non-compliance with protocol plans is planned, although a malfunction of the aircraft, which dates back to the Soviet era and is almost 50 years old, is not ruled out.
A civilian aircraft crashed in the Amur region today. Dozens of people lost their lives. And I would like to express words of sincere sympathy and condolences to the families, loved ones, and all those who died in this plane crash.
Now we have a second show break coming up. Before, we are happy to announce a brand new podcast. teleSUR and the China Academy presents Overlap, conversations from across the world on relevant issues worldwide. Tune in for its premiere today on Thursday, July 24th at 7 p.m. Caracas time, and all our social teleSUR English, and also at 9 p.m. Caracas time on our regular TV podcast. See you there. Final show break now. Don't go away. Welcome back to From the South. In Palestine, the number of people who have died from starvation has increased in Gaza in the last few hours. Health authorities confirmed 10 new deaths at dawn on Thursday. In this sense, more than 120 people have died under Israeli fire, including 34 who were waiting for food. Deaths from starvation, which according to the Palestinians is as lethal as the bombs, have risen to more than 115, while doctors warn that many patients, especially children, are at high risk. On the other hand, more than 100 organizations report that there are tons of food on the outskirts of Gaza, but the Israeli blockade prevents entry and access to aid. The United Nations organization has once again spoken out against the new restrictions imposed by Israel, which now limits the validity of visas for the staff of its humanitarian office to just 1 month. Stefan Dujarric, a spokesperson for United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres, warned that this measure further hinders the delivery of aid in Gaza, where thousands of people continue to face hunger, displacement and extreme deprivation. He also responded to the Israeli government's accusations about alleged links between United Nations workers and Hamas, confirming that these are serious accusations and calling for any evidence to be shared immediately. Dujarric also said that they are ready to expand assistance in Gaza if a ceasefire is agreed, but for this to happen, Israel must open all border crossings and guarantee safe conditions for humanitarian personnel. In Israel, the Knesset approved Wednesday a symbolic motion to support the annexation of the West Bank, which is an occupied Palestinian territory. Previously, there have been calls on the Knesset to enact this law in that matter. Therefore, the proposal received 71 votes in favor and 13 against. In addition, such decision came shortly after the same parliament revoked in absolute majority the creation of a Palestinian state. Meanwhile, the Palestinian Foreign Ministry ensured that the Israeli motion was a new war declaration. The entity further described it as a colonialist policy that violates international law and United Nations resolutions. In all, Israeli forces have escalated their offensive on the occupied West Bank since October 2023. Turkey confirms the death of 5 forest fighters and 5 members of the search and rescue service during operations to extinguish a devastating fire in Sanjit Gazi, Eskişehir province. The Minister of Agriculture and Forestry, Ibrahim Jumakli, lamented the death of the workers, noting that they lost their lives after a sudden change in the wind direction fanned by the flames. The voracity of the fire, linked to the very high temperatures, strong winds and low humidity, have transformed the incident into a large-scale emergency. In this context, Turkish authorities are currently battling 7 active forest fires in different provinces. The Venice Film Festival will reach its 82nd edition with a program that promises to delight cinema lovers. The festival, which will take place from August 27th to September 9th, will present films from all over the world in different sections. The inauguration will take place with the Italian film La Grazia by Paolo Sorrentino, and 23 films will compete, including works of renowned directors such as Guillermo del Toro and Catherine Bigelow. In this edition, the Golden Lions will be awarded to iconic actress Kim Novak and director Werner Herzog. Meanwhile, the Ecuadorian film Hiedra, directed by Ana Cristina Barragan, will compete in the Horizonte section dedicated to new aesthetic trends in cinema. And with this cultural moment, we have come to the end of this news brief, but you can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. On social media, we are on Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok as well. For TeleSUR English, I'm Alejandra Garcia. Thank you for watching.